Hello everyone, this is Morleon the Mystic, and here I have with me my buddy Frosty and also my friend Woofang. And today we're just going to talk about the new video that Rare had released yesterday about the future plans for their updates for Sea of Thieves. They have a lot of cool stuff going on. There are 6 major updates that they plan to release before the end of the year in kind of waves. And we just kind of want to talk about that. So, Frosty, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
I'm Frost. I've been playing, games most of my life. Pretty awesome at it. Mostly like first-person shooters though, so
Yeah. Yeah, but you're like in Sea of Thieves when we can all get together as a group, right?
oh yeah, Sea of Thieves, it's awesome. It's definitely a squad-based game, personally. That's my opinion. It's much funner as a squad.
Yeah.
You raid all the sloops and stuff.
Uh, yeah, I definitely agree. Playing by yourself it's all right, but it's definitely immensely more fun when you actually can get with 4 people on a galleon. So go ahead and introduce yourself, Wolfang, real quick.
Yeah, hi, I'm Woofang. I've been playing video games since my friend invited me over, and well, I've been playing video games since I was a kid. Asteroids on, Atari 2000, but first-person shooters, you know, arguably GoldenEye was the first one, and then Halo. I mean, I caught the real bug when Halo came out, and been playing, just been playing whatever catches my fancy, and you know.
Hmm. Yeah, and I started playing video games, many years ago as well. And I started off with Super Nintendo. I really loved playing Mega Man. Mega Man X was my favorite of those. Then when
Ninja
place,
Ninja
yeah,
Gaiden was great too.
yeah, that was
Being on
awesome.
Tekken was really fun.
Yeah, just
I love
those
Tekken
old
and
games were really great.
Mortal Kombat.
And then I graduated into RPG type games. Those were kind of like my favorites. And I did some MMOs like World of Warcraft, and Frost used to play World of Warcraft with me back in the day we
I'll never
both
play it again.
before we both played it so much that we lost our
Stole my
lives,
network.
and then we found our lives
My
again.
school credits.
Um, so that's not to knock anybody who's played World of Warcraft, because it is a fun game. But when you let it take control of your life like it did for us,
Yeah,
you gotta
learn
let
to
go.
actually control your life and not live unlivable.
Yeah, so me and Frost finally broke away from that. But today I wanted to talk about Sea of Thieves and the video that Rare released, talking about their updates. So one of the first updates that they had brought up is going to be coming out in May, actually, of this year, and it's called The Hungering Deep. And I'm kind of interested to kind of see what this is going to be all about. They're saying that it's going to start off as kind of a event when they release it. It's going to be super challenging, and they want to have it to where it encourages different crews to band together and go and fight this thing. There's going to be a new AI threat, so it's not going to be like skeletons or a kraken. It's going to be something completely new. And so once the event is over, it's just going to be a permanent part of the world. So they were very vague as to what it is. They didn't tell us anything about what the creature is going to be, what the event is, or anything like
Yeah,
that.
did they
So
say for sure that it's a creature?
they didn't say whether or not it's a creature. They called it a new AI threat. So that
What if
means,
it's like, Davy Jones?
see,
Or Blackbeard.
see now
Yeah,
they did the next update that's after that. It's called Curse Sales, which might be something similar to that. But when they're talking about the Hungering Deep, I don't know what you guys would think about that, but I'm kind of thinking it's going to be more like a Moby Dick kind of situation, like a huge killer whale. It's just going to come up, or maybe like a giant shark. Um, and I'm really excited to see it. Just kind of just the idea that they're going to be adding something new for us to have to fight, especially one that's going to encourage getting those large groups together. Because as we discussed, Sea of Thieves is fantastic for when you play with groups, right?
It is. I wish that
Yeah,
you
very
would
much so.
also like have multiple ships be able to find the same server. I almost wish that on a galleon that you could have like 6 guys sometimes because it's fun to board ships. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, yeah, and not too long ago, we were playing at Keebler and who else was playing? I think Woofang and Lash and Cade were playing, and then me and Nephi wanted to join with him. We got on a sloop. We kept trying to log off and log back in to try and join
Oh yeah.
up and to see if we can get on the same server, but it unfortunately didn't work out. And I totally agree. I think the Galleon should have like a crew of 6, and now and that's pretty much what Hungering Deep is. We don't know exactly what the new AI threat is. It's kind of fun to kind of speculate. Is it going to be like a creature? I've heard that some people think it might be mermaids or something. They also said there's going to be a new item introduced in the game with this update. So that's something to be real excited about. So the next thing that they started talking about in their videos is their weekly events. So what they're going to do is after they release Hungering Deep, they're going to start releasing these weekly events that apparently they're going to be different each time. And they're going to start kind of leading and building up to these bigger content drops they're going to do throughout the year, these 6 content drops. So some of the things they talked about with these weekly updates is new types of missions for underwater caves and ruins and things like that, where an NPC might tell you that that they've lost something. What kind of things do you guys think would be in these weekly updates, or what would you like to see in them?
To be honest, I think they should make, certain skins or something, for weapons or clothes or things be slightly easier to access because what do you need like 70,000 just for like a ship sale?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's for the casual player, it's really hard to even fathom getting 70,000 coins.
Yeah,
Especially for casual.
I mean, I heard that there was some major loot that you could obtain, and but the fact that there are so many poachings happening that and it's what is the split? Is it a 4-way split or a 2-way split depending on what boat you're on, or is it everybody gets the same amount?
yeah.
If the prize is 3,000, then everybody gets 3,000. Does everybody get 750?
Yeah, I think it's pretty much set to where everyone gets the same amount, and it's not split like that. I don't think, because whenever I played, go ahead.
When you're playing on a heavy night, like say Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you're just gonna have those poachers sitting at the outpost taking everything you got.
Yeah, and
So
somebody else that I was talking to, what they were hoping for is in some of these updates is for possibly a boat that works similarly to an outpost that travels along the map, and you can encounter it, and you can go and you can sell some of your stuff on that ship. So that because like I said, the developers didn't really go into too much detail about what these weekly events are. One thing that they did say, it specifically mentioned, is they are going to be adding in cursed cannonballs and possibly some other kinds of resources into the game. What do you guys, when you hear about cursed cannonballs, what do you think that would be for the game of Sea of Thieves?
Maybe cannonballs that explode because that'd be freaking awesome. I do think they have.
cannonballs that whale, like when it rains, or I think there's a whaling chest that fills your boat up with water when you get hit with it.
Okay, yeah, so something like that.
Even if you were to patch the hole, if you don't pick up the cannonball and throw it overboard, then it's still filled your boat up with water.
Okay, yeah, that's a pretty
that's
interesting
kinda
take
cool.
on it. Yeah. Man, that'd be terrible if your ship's getting filled with holes and you gotta go find all these cannonballs and throw those overboard before you start patching. That'd
If
be.
you want to add 6 people to it, that they got to add something a little bit more exciting.
Yeah. Honestly, I do think they should make it like weapons kind of change because I mean they have what the pistol, the shotgun,
Yeah,
the
the.
blunderbuss, and the sniper.
Uh-huh.
But really, there's not much of a difference between the three. They're just skins that you can get. I wish the weapons would do more.
Yeah, I
Not
mean.
just be skins, but
Yeah, I mean the blunderbuss actually does do kind of a spread when you fire it, and the sniper rifle has a lot further range than the pistol does, and so they are a little
Yeah,
bit
but
different,
other
but damage-wise, I think they're pretty similar. I
they're pretty
believe.
close to the same.
Yeah, and I can
'Cause,
understand
I
they
mean,
want
I
to.
can. Yeah, I just wish that they made like, you know, maybe if they had different servers, like say people who want to go against each other and kill each other and loot, make a server for that and just
Like a
keep it the same
PvP
where all
server.
weapons do the same damage. Yeah, or people who just want to play the game and do quests and just grind it out and make that one to where weapons can do different things. Make it interesting.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
make it to
mean,
where your bullets explode or something. Or
Yeah.
you have cursed bullets.
Grenade launcher.
Okay, grenade launcher might be going overboard, but they should,
No.
input
You
little
launch.
grenades.
You launch a hollow cannonball. Basically, you light the cannonball with a 30
Okay,
to
you know
45
what,
second
yeah.
fuse. You
Yeah, I
fill
know
it
what
with
you're talking
hollow,
about
and then
now.
you launch it. I mean, that's what they did in colonial times. I mean, that technology was there back then.
uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. Yeah, that is very true.
That would be a pretty neat addition if they added in grenades. That'd actually be really cool. Another thing that they had talked about for these weekly updates is skeleton thrones that will appear on these different islands, where it's basically like King Skeleton sits on top of the island. But one thing that they had mentioned is that they would be difficult to find and even more difficult to get to. And they suggested that one of the only ways to get to these skeleton thrones would be to launch yourself with a cannon, and then they would have rewards at these skeleton thrones, which seems pretty cool. So they're basically what they're going to do with these events. There's going to be a new one every week until they release the next one. So the next big event that's going to come out sometime in the summer, they weren't very clear on it, but this one is called Cursed Sales. This one I'm really excited for. I think you guys will be excited for it too. So it's going to be released in the summer. It's going to have another new AI threat. And this is where I think we might start seeing like the Flying Dutchman, or some sort of ghost ship that kind of sails around as a random encounter like the Kraken. But here's the thing that you guys are like, there's going to be a new ship with different crew size.
Well, see, that's a step in the right direction.
Uh-huh.
I do think that they need more, of a maybe. Well, I get that you don't want a storyline, but all the quests, they really feel the same. They really do. So I think they should change it up a bit.
Yeah, and that I
Somehow.
think that's what their goal is with these weekly updates, and also with these other updates that are coming out, like with the Hungering Deep and with the Cursed Sails, and then they added in the Skeleton Forts with that daily event where that skulls in the sky where you can go and get all that awesome loot. So I'm really excited for this one. They weren't clear on whether it's going to be a bigger ship than the galleon, or if it's going to be an in-between ship from the sloop. I'm hoping it's going to be a bigger ship that can have a bigger crew.
Well, I don't think they can go smaller because the galleon can do 3 and 4, and the sloop does 1 and 2.
Yeah. So with that in mind, I'm really hoping we get a bigger ship. We can have a crew of like 6 to 8 people, because with our group of friends, and not everybody's going to have this, but with our group of friends, we end up with like, oh man, your galleon's full, then I guess we'll just play by ourselves or play something else, because like we talked about in the beginning, Sea of Thieves is the most fun when you can play with a group, and it sucks when your group is bigger than the ship. So hopefully with the cursed sails they release in the summer, we'll get a bigger ship with a bigger crew. So
See, I do think they could add a bigger island for, you know, maybe kind of like a longer quest line or something. Go through caves and not, you know, make it to where you don't just, the island, you can literally go around it in 5 seconds or something.
maybe. And so the next one that they're doing, which kind of goes along with what you're saying about maybe possibly bigger islands or something that's a little more in depth. The next update they're going to do later in the summer is called Forsaken Shores, and again, they did not give hardly any details to this information. They just kind of were teasing us with it, but they gave us kind of an outline of when these are going to come out. And so with Forsaken Shores, this is going to be a whole new area that's going to be added in. So I don't know if it's going to be like an expanded map or if there's just going to be new islands added in. I'm thinking it's going to be more of a new map, like off to one of the sides where you leave the main ocean area that we have currently and you go into it. And what's more is they say it's going to be a really dangerous area. So it's going to be high risk, high reward kind of place. And they're also going to be adding another AI threat. So rather than just having the Kraken and the skeletons, we're now going to have something from the Hungering Deep. We're going to have something from the Cursed Sails. And we're going to have some of the Forsaken Shores. And I think that is a really good move for them to be pushing a little bit more towards this PvE thing. That way we have less griefers that are just going to sit there and try and steal your stuff as you're offloading, which we all understand it's a pirate game and we try and steal people's stuff too, but for some people it's a really big problem. What do you guys think about the idea that it's going to be a little bit more PvE?
I think that they should split up into zones. So like on your map, you'll see a clear line of where you could be passing into a PvE zone. And I don't know if there'll be any loading times, or you could just select it from, the beginning, the get-go. Mm-hmm. So you can either have that adventure with your guys trying to get that next skin or that next boat or that next feature, or you're going to be just going to be battling people.
Mm-hmm. Or another way is they could make the outposts, basically you can't die or whatever on the outposts.
Like a safe zone and
the outposts are safe zones.
Yeah, and there's definitely been a lot of talk on that on the forums from people who are upset with the way that there's just this mixture of PvE and PvP. I don't know if the developers have any plan to change any of that, but with every voice that speaks out and says, "Hey, we want this sort of change," there's a better chance that they might do it. So it's good to hear everybody's feedback on that. So one thing that I think is really cool about Rare and their choices here with these updates is guess how much these downloadables are going to cost. Oh, these different updates.
Less than $10?
You're correct. It's going to be $0. It's all going to be free. There's no paying for it. Everybody who has the game or has access to the game, whether they've purchased it or they're on Game Pass, everybody's going to have access to all of these different updates. They also said they had 3 more updates they're going to do during the fall and winter. They didn't say what they were, so we have 6 huge updates that are coming to Sea of Thieves before the end of the year, and I gotta say I'm excited.
And you see, I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry. You see, that's a common trend that's happening now. It seems like everything is switched to digital now, so digital download. So I mean, there's these big names like these huge multiplayer shooters and these quest lines. Some of the older games that we played, like I don't know how you're using this, and I don't know. I'm gonna say Destiny, Call of Duty, Battlefield, Battlefield's not too bad, but Halo, and you see how they just push this downloadable content. And now you see games like Fortnite, and you see PUBG, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and some of these other games like Sea of Thieves. They have these downloadable contents where they're giving it away for free so they can build their communities, and more people will play, and they're doing it for free, and it's for the sake of gaming again. I mean, I paid $30 for PUBG, and I keep getting new things, and hey, this is gonna drop, and this is gonna drop, and there's no word about money, so it seems like everything is going through because it's for the love of the game.
Uh-huh.
Although on PC, you can buy crates. It's not required for gameplay, but you can do it. Same thing with
No,
Fortnite.
I know
you can buy
there's always there's always in game purchasing. I mean, that's something that's actually relatively new within the past decade. There's in-game purchasing because that's something that didn't exist.
Yeah, these microtransactions, what they're called.
What I, what I'm talking about is the downloadable content is no longer going to cost you. You have to have a $40 pass to get it, or you have to have purchase it for $19.99, or in order to play it, and then you have to. I remember back then it was in order to play the game you had to buy a brand new disc with the new maps before it downloaded to any Xbox.
Mm-hmm. Like, and you mentioned Halo. Back when I used to play Halo, whenever they were doing like the multiplayer stuff, if you wanted to get the new map pack, you had to pay $10 for it. And there was
or you had to buy the disc that had it.
Yeah, or you had to buy the disc that had it. So, like, you had to pay for all these DLCs, or like take Skyrim, like the Elder Scrolls series, for example. Anytime they release an expansion, you have to pay for it. Ark Survival Evolved is a game that I love playing. It's a pretty pricey game. They've done a lot of work with it, but their DLC, or at least I'd say half of their DLC, you have to pay for, and it's $20 or more depending on which one you're getting. And so, like what you said with like Fortnite, PUBG, and Sea of Thieves, they're making really good moves by building their communities with these free updates. And I gotta say, I'm really excited for all of them. I can't wait to see what the Hungering Deep is in May, and that's coming out. They didn't give an exact date, but I'm sure we'll get one eventually. So I'd love to thank you guys for talking with me about this today. I was really excited when I saw the video. I just kind of wanted to talk about it and get some other players' perspectives on it and see kind of what your thoughts were. Did you guys have any final thoughts you wanted to add in?
I'll say it's still, I don't feel it's a full game, but it is on the right track.
I agree with that. And the fact that we can have from 2 players to possibly 6 or 8 players would be enormous. I mean,
Yeah, as long as they don't do what Destiny 2 did, where they started off where basically you almost had to pay to win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
that just ruins games.
Yeah, and the developers did talk about that in this video and others. They have no intention of separating the player base at all by means of money. They want to make sure that everybody who can play the game can play it on equal footing. And any and all microtransactions that they will be adding in, they did talk about adding in pets eventually as a microtransaction, and that would just be purely cosmetic. So any kind of microtransaction that they're going to do, anything like that, it's going to be purely cosmetic, and it's not going to give you an edge above any other players, which is fantastic. And I'm really looking forward to the future of Sea of Thieves. Like you said, it's not quite fulfilled its potential yet, but it's definitely on the right track, and I'm really excited. So thank you guys for joining me today. This is Morleon the Mystic, and we just talked about Sea of Thieves. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Frost Saint actually does streaming. He streams on Mixer, so go ahead and take a look for him. That is Frost Saint with a 0. So don't type in an O. Type in F0ST space SAINT and check him out on Mixer.
It's actually an underscore, but you could always just put my link in the description below.
Oh yeah.
Make it easy.
That's a fantastic idea. Why don't I just go ahead, put the link in the description below, go ahead and like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.